It is 5:30, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Meister,
Present.
Councilmember Beltran,
Present.
Vice Mayor Carrillo,
Present.
Mayor Flores.
Present. I invite you to please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Meister, and to remain standing for an invocation or moment of silence.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there anyone that would like to come forward and lead us in an invocation?
I can do that.
That's fine.
Go for it. All right, Gail, I'll get it next time. Thank you for this opportunity. Let us all bow. Loving Father, we thank you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for this beautiful day. Father, we know that the days are short and the nights are cold, but help our hearts to be warmed by your presence and your love and the friendship that we have with one another as citizens of this town. Father, we lift up to you this town, our home. We pray, Father, that we will all help it to be a safe haven for us as families and a safe place for our children. Father, we ask that you will watch over our ways and help us to stay on a path of light and forgive us when we walk astray. Help us always to be kind and helpful to others. Father, we thank you for the love and the care that you give us each and every day. We thank you for the great country in which we live. Father, help us to be worthy of the freedoms and liberties that we have. Help us to be worthy, Father, of being called your children. Help us always to be, once again, good to one another. And above all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. In his holy, eternal name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. We will now move into oral communications. This is the opportunity to address the council on any matter of interest, whether on the agenda or not. Unless additional time is authorized by the council, all commentaries shall be limited to 3 minutes. You will be asked to state your name and city of residence for the record, and we will continue to adhere to the 3 minute per person. Is there anyone that would like to come up? Please do so now. Please do so.
Good evening. My name is Gary Santos. I'm from the Tule River Tribe. And I just want to start off by saying to everybody here at the City of Porterville, on behalf of our sister Kelly Carrillo, we want to, the family wants to thank the staff for always really treating her and being very professional to her. She talked very, very highly of everybody all the time during her 4-year tenure. So on behalf of the family, we definitely want to thank you guys for treating her very professional and keeping her busy, keeping her on her toes. Kelly always talked about how much work you guys go through and how much meetings and committees and everything she had to attend, but she was always happy, always spoke highly of the staff. You guys all supported her, and we want to thank you guys for that. Secondly, our family, we're very proud of our sister and our mom. She couldn't be here. She was a little bit sick, under the weather, but we wanted to make sure that she's mentioned, and Kelly, that you know that mom's very proud of you. Last but not least, all the people in Porterville that took a chance on a Native American to sit up here on the dais to represent our city, and we say our city also because we're linked to you guys just as well as anybody. And we appreciate the professionalism and the courtesy that you guys gave our sister as she sat here and represented the city of Porterville to the best of her ability. And even though, on Native issues, we call it handcuff, but she didn't really get to participate in very much of those because of the conflict of interest that was brought up. But she still supported it wholeheartedly. And she supported her co-board members that actually dealt with the tribe when we were doing the casino and other projects like that. So On behalf of your family, we thank you and we're proud of you, and we wish you well in your future endeavors, sister.
Thank you, Mr. Santos. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so. Please hold your applause. Please hold your applause.
Hi, Alexis Espinoza, Porterville. Congratulations to the council-elects. They have a huge responsibility ahead of them, and best of luck to them. Mayor Flores, we met each other, sorry. I'm sad to see you go, I'm not gonna lie. When we met each other in 2018, I was a fresh-faced reporter for the newspaper, completely oblivious to what city council actually does. Of all the council members I have covered, you are the one who has taught me the most. Your knowledge on the ins and outs of a city's governance, including the budgeting process, plan reviews, the Brown Act, and all of the unnamed intricacies that come with representing and making fair decisions for the community is remarkable. You have sacrificed countless hours to volunteer, attend a laundry list of meetings, show up at what seems like every single community event, and reach out to your community when they call on you. The time you have spent giving back to this community is unfathomable to many. Your passion for the people who live and work here is immense, and it overflows and is apparent in everything you do. Outside of the wonderful councilwoman you have become, you are a woman worthy of admiration. You have shown me the power a woman can possess over her own life, the freedom she can have within herself, and the growth she can accomplish with sheer determination. I personally have become more confident in myself as a professional simply by watching you carry yourself with pride, passion, and love. You have never failed to greet me with a smile and a hug, no matter where we might collide into one another. Nearly all of the photos I have of just me and my son are taken by you. Even though I tried to wiggle out of those moments, you insisted that they were necessary, and you were absolutely correct. I cherish those photos and thank you for them. But there's so much more to thank you for. Thank you for teaching me and guiding me, offering me courage and wisdom. Thank you for reading my work and offering me feedback. Thank you for your time, energy, thought, and space. Thank you for becoming the mentor I never knew I needed. Thank you for showing me that my voice matters. Most importantly, though, thank you for modeling what a successful professional woman can be, what she can do, and who she can become, what every girl just like me can become. You are a true gem, a rare breed of person who cares so deeply it just oozes from their being. Porterville has been truly honored to have a person like you lead their city.
Thank you, Alexis. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so now.
Brock Neely, address on record. I would like to also ditto Gary and thank Kelly for her service. It's not hard to be of the First Peoples and to get elected to run for city council in a city of this type, and being the only Native American to represent any city council in the state of California. We need more. It's your land, it's not our land, it's everybody's land. Martha, you've been there, you get your chair back. How many years did you sit in that chair back there?
13.
Yeah, we've been through a lot of these meetings together. Thank you for what you've done and the direction you've led the city. Now the other comments are to congratulate the 3 council members-elect and to remind them that they were elected to represent all the residents of Porterville, not just the Christians, not just the Republicans. You have to remember there are Native Americans here that don't believe in God. They have their own beliefs. There's also Hindus. We have Buddhists. We have Sikhs. So, you have to remember you have to represent everybody and not favor one particular group. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank Chairman Emeritus Perron for attending the council meeting and Vice Chairman Shine Nieto. Okay, we will continue with oral communications. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so now.
My name is Teresa Gonzalez, and I'm on file. I was here in the month of October, and I had asked you to have an ear for the seniors of Plaza de Santa Fe, where the crossing on Putnam and Third is not safe. And I want to thank you because you listened to me, and I want to thank the engineering department. And I believe the gentleman's name was Zachary, and he called me, and he called again when he said he would, and they agreed with the issues that I brought up, and they said hopefully by January the 1st, they're going to mark the street off, they're going to post a sign for crossing, and post the speed limit. So I do want to thank you for that, and that's going to make a great difference for the seniors. Healthier, safe environment.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so. Before you begin, I'm going to kindly ask you to remove your cap.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that. I'm
No
just used to wearing my hat around ex-wannabe athlete, so. Well, my name is Shine Nieto. I'm the vice chairman of To the River Tribe. I'm just coming here to also thank you for your support, Mayor, and everything you have done, plus all the people around you, that have helped us get to where we need to be as a neighborly people. And, thank Kelly for all that she's done to do what she has to do to represent us as a tribe and just try to stay out of the business without having to get caught up in conflict with us. And I know it was hard to stay out the door and get blamed for things that she wasn't involved in, but, I'm glad that you guys seen that she wasn't involved in it. But, and thank you, Meister, and you sir, and the other ones that have left, and hopefully we can continue being neighborly as people, and our tribe can prosper as well as the city of Porterville together instead of trying to be against each other. So I thank you for whatever you have done for us and whatever you've done before I got on council, but I know what you've done since I've been on council, and I just wanted to come forward and thank you for that, and for the rest of you. Thank you. All right.
Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so.
Devin Mathis, I believe address is on record. I'm no longer your state assemblyman, but I do want to thank Martha and Kelly for everything that you have done on council during my tenure, being able to work, being able to address the issues of the people. I've spent my tenure putting people before politics. To Kelly, I know and I watched how hard it was for you as a tribal member. And for me, and I've seen some things where I honestly, personally thought that they were unfair to you, that you were asked to be excluded from certain conversations from being a member, because to me, that would be like me being asked to be excluded because I'm a veteran. And to me, that's the same. I'm proud of what the city has been able to do with the circumstances that have gone on during my tenure. And I know there's a lot more that can happen. And I'm going to keep it not quite as formal, but to Greg and to Raymond, I've seen you guys come a long way in your first 2 years. I look forward to seeing what you guys can do moving forward. And to our new council members-elect, who will be sworn in here shortly, I look forward to working with all of you in whatever capacity. To run a city takes a lot. To sit on the dais takes a lot. A lot of people don't know what it's like to step out of their private lives and become a public official, to become an elected. You have to look out for everybody. regardless of if you agree with them or not, regardless of where you might feel, you have to look at what is the best for your constituents as a whole, and what is best for the city as a whole. And that is not always easy. My 10 years, I've borne the brunt of that. And I will always be here for anybody who wants help, who wants counsel, who wants to talk about how to face challenges ahead. And I just know that when everybody works together, things get done for the community, and it's a beautiful thing. So I look forward to seeing what that looks like. Again, to Kelly and Martha, thank you for your time and service. Hopefully you get a little bit more peace and quiet. Everybody's going to call you anyway. So you guys enjoy, and best of luck to everybody else. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so.
Good evening, honorable council members, Mayor Flores, Vice Mayor Carrillo, Alida Verduzco Silva, East Porterville resident. I am also the Economic Development Manager for the County of Tulare, but I'm here as a community member. And hello to the administration as well. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. I simply want to thank you for your leadership, for your way of serving the community and setting an example for many of us entering government as staff. It has been nothing but a pleasure seeing your guidance in the community, and I wish you nothing but the best. And as you retire from this service, Mayor Flores and Vice Mayor Carrillo, and I look forward to what you will continue to contribute to our greater Central Valley community. From the time I saw you, Mayor Flores, in action on Leadership Porterville, in that capacity, guiding the way for those trying to learn more about local governance, it's something that stayed with me for a very long time. And Vice Mayor Carrillo, seeing you move through tribal relations and local government has been nothing short of a pleasure. And so for all of the council members on the dais, thank you for your service. Again, wishing you a happy retirement from this role. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so.
Neil Perone. Hello, how are you? My name is Neil Perone, 567 South Reservation Road, Porterville, California. Mayor, what can I say? Thank you for your leadership. You're always there to help us, to guide us in our business dealings with the city, ensuring that your constituents were taken care of, as well as being fair to the members of the tribe. So I thank you for that on behalf of our 2,003 members of the Tule River Tribe. I was fortunate enough to serve in some shape or form of my people since 1998, so I know what it's like to sit up there. Half the people are mad at you half the time, and that's on a good day. But I've seen the growth here in the city of Porterville. I attended Vandalia Elementary School, Bartlett Junior High School, Porterville High School, Porterville College, Porterville Adult School, and I've seen the growth, and I've seen the good things that have come our way, and it's still growing. So I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being here and working with the tribe to ensure that we can do what's best for both of our peoples. Kelly, what can I say? We're very proud of you. We love you. You're a prime example of what our people can do when they put their hearts and minds to it. So hold that. I really wish you would have ran again, but that was your choice, and I can understand. Like I said, I've been doing this for a while. But I won't take up any more time, but I want to thank you. For those newly elected, the tribe looks forward to working with you moving forward and other enterprises other than our current gaming facility and those expansions there. But I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? Please do so now.
I honestly just wanted to stand here and just thank both of you, Kelly and Ms. Flores, for your sacrifice that you've done for the city. And I know maybe we don't always agree on policy, but at the same time, I respect you very much for, it takes a lot to come and do all the work that you've done. So I appreciate all of your selflessness that you've given to the city. And I heard nothing but good things working with staff. And I'm excited. This is a great look here, seeing all the room full of people, and I Neely, I think if you just set the right conditions, all of us will flourish. The tribe's done a great job. We can continue to keep making those relationships. I am very excited to see, the direction that we're going to go. And hopefully everybody stays involved and keeps working together. That's going to be the key to make the city move in the direction that you want to go. So at that, thank you very much for everything that you've done, and wish you guys all the best.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Please do so now. Okay. Do we have anyone on virtually?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. We will now move into the scheduled matters.
Thank you, Your Honor. The first item of business is the acceptance of official canvass and statement of votes for the November 5th, 2024 election. As you know, a municipal election was held in November for the purpose of electing individuals to the available four-year term city council offices in Districts 3 and 4. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 9 of the city charter, after any municipal election, the elections official must duly canvass the returns and declare the results thereof. The city's election was conducted as a consolidated general election, with election services being provided by Tulare County. Pursuant to Elections Code and County Registrar of Voters, they conducted its official canvass and certified the results on December 3rd, 2024. Pursuant to the certified statement of votes, the results for Districts 3 and 4 are as follows. District 3, for a four-year term city council office, A.J. Rivas was the prevailing candidate with 1,327 votes, or 51.35% of the votes, with Tim Vanny earning 1,257 votes, or 48.65%. In District 4, Ed McCurvey was the victorious candidate with 2,575 votes, or 71.81%, with Don Wyrock receiving 1,011 votes, or 28.19%. Because candidate Stan Green was the sole candidate qualified for the ballot in District 5, the City Council took action on September 17th to appoint in lieu of an election. Copies of the Tulare County Registrar of Voters certified results of the canvass and the statement of votes were provided in the council's packet. With that, staff's recommendation is that the City Council approve the draft resolution accepting the certified canvass and statement of votes of the November 5th, 2024 municipal general election from the Tulare County Registrar of Voters. I'm available for questions.
Thank you. I don't believe council has any questions to that regard, and I'm going to bring it to council. How does council wish to proceed?
I'll make a motion to accept the official canvass and statement of votes for November 5th, 2024 election.
And I will second. No further discussion. Call for the vote. Passes unanimous 4-0. We will now move into number 2.
Yes, Your Honor. So now we move on to the recognition of Vice Mayor Kelly Carrillo.
It is without reservation to acknowledge Vice Mayor Carrillo this evening. In the last 4 years of her work with the city of Porterville, she has truly given a lot to participation. She has taught us to differentiate and to participate. And I am blessed not only to have already had the established working relationship with the tribe, but she taught us even more. And I know that the work is based on trust, and I thank you for that trust that you have given us. In recognition of your outstanding and dedication to the city of Porterville, Vice Mayor Carrillo. Thank you. Please, is there anything you would like to say?
Of course there is. Chairman Emeritus and Vice Chairman, please, I'm glad you stayed and I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. First of all, I want to start off, please be patient with me. This is part of my perspective and something that I need to offer that's of value. And I'd like to start the way that I started at my swear-in. Thank you, City, for making these accommodations for me. And Fernando, could you play the recording, please? And please stand if you can and pray in your own way as we listen to this.
Alasak Tripni, Alasala Hona, America yo, Hitsami Dia, one canan insis osho, yo insis dem. One canan mani, Tiwiso yo, Zo yecha, yo kitsa. Alasala Hona, Ki nestam ho, Zo, Inseko yecha, yo kitsa, Shokanatsi. I hope.
Thank you. So what we have there is one of our elders that offered a prayer. So as you know, I was elected and sworn in December of 2020, right in the heart of our pandemic. And I wanted someone to offer a prayer in the language from our home. And Nicola Larson Metz offered that prayer for me. And because of the pandemic, we can only have so many people in the chambers, but she also was an elder and didn't want to take a chance to come down and get sick or make someone else sick. So she recorded that, and she recorded several takes of it and was very proud of it. But what she prayed for was prayers for me, but prayers for everybody that was elected that year and sitting up here because of how hard the work is. And then she prayed for our city, and she prayed for all of you that live in this city, and for good things to happen to all of us and all of our people in town. And the reason I offer that is because she was a respected elder, tribal member, basket weaver, language speaker, cultural advocate, and our friend and relative. As she offered that prayer, I wanted to have the language spoken because I don't know the last time the language was spoken in here, but I promised her it wouldn't be the last. And then tonight I'm sharing it again because, again, it will not be the last time that our language is spoken in here. But I also wanted to say she couldn't be here during that time because of COVID, but she can't be here tonight because she passed away during the pandemic also. So that's very meaningful to be able to share that prayer tonight. When I say this is my hometown, it has a stronger meaning than just my hometown. Yes, I was born here at Sierra View. I went to school here. Both of my parents are from here. My grandparents are from here, et cetera, because our family, our people never left here. Our people are still here. So hometown equates to homeland to me. So when I say that my efforts are genuine and towards my hometown and the betterment of it, that's how deep that meaning is to me. And when I was elected and I met the city manager and started meeting the staff, I had to quickly, through Zoom, make an understanding for myself of how these projects and how these decisions were going to be of real meaning to me. So as we started working on public safety and fire and water and community development and community service and programs for the families, that all made sense to me. And it made sense, and it matched what we did on the reservation. So as that happened, I began to have, it was of more value, and I could see clearly how to make decisions with the information that was being provided. There's been a lot of challenges and changes in 4 years, and especially with the 4 years that we've had. And I know I've only had one term, but I've learned a lot in that one term. and I've learned a lot from the people that sit on the dais with me and also that work for the city and the people that support me. I'm going to do some thank yous, and I have to start with my parents and my grandparents because that's where my grounding comes from. That's where the values are established and community service examples in action. And I feel like the people that have the community service background are the ones that are the most successful because they're here for a purpose. My dad did community service until he passed. My mom still does it today, even though through her retirement. So I just want to simply say thank you to both of them. We were taught to leave things better than you found them. That relates to people, relationships, projects that are meaningful, decisions, and always considering the future. Not my personal want or need, not one specific person that wants something or feels they earn that. It's for the future and for the effect on the community. The decisions are supposed to be made to make things better because we're not going to always be here. And that's something our chairman has always talked about on our reservation as they made decisions on our council, and I tried to replicate that in my decisions. One of the people I want to thank is Virginia Garola. And the reason I want to thank her is because that's the friend that reached out to me with this crazy idea that I should consider campaigning as a candidate for Porterville City Council. And as she talked to me about that, it didn't sound so crazy. It sounded like work we were already doing. It sounded like it wasn't the Porterville City Council, it was our community. The work sounded like work that we were doing on the reservation, sometimes with less resources. So I made the decision to do that. I campaigned late, and I had a lot of support. And the support didn't just come from the city and my family. The support came from our tribe, our reservation, our residents, and tribal leaders throughout the state of California because they wanted to see good things happen. The next person I want to thank, and I'm glad you're here tonight, is John Lawless, the previous city manager. Because from the moment I reached out, he was the epitome of professional and knowledgeable. With my luck, because I didn't really know John well at the time, I just heard his name and kept being told, go talk to John to get a little bit of knowledge of what the city's doing and working on. I hesitated and then finally got to meet John, and we spoke for 2 hours when I was elected over the phone. But thankfully, he held years of institutional knowledge. And he had an understanding of various forms of government, including a rare understanding of tribal government. He had a respect for the tribal governance structure and a unique status, and understanding that unique status of working closely with the federally recognized tribe. He also understood and asked questions about the tribe and tribes and federal recognized tribes. And because I felt the comfort to explain that, he was willing to learn more and assess, and I believe what he was trying to do was figure out how to be a better partner. What could we do more? How could we work with departments and programs? How could we work on projects and funding? And I think one of the unique things I never mentioned before, because I didn't want him to, he doesn't work here anymore, so he can't be hurt by this, but one thing that I was proud of that he really did was during Native American Heritage Month one year, he and Patrice supported to bring in a presenter that would present a different perspective on, I guess, like Native culture, Native information, Native education, and we held a lunch training here in the chambers, and he opened up to any director and any other staff that their departments wanted to attend. And I let the chairman know at our tribe, and we invited, I didn't say it at the time, but the vice chairman of a sister tribe, the Santa Rosa Rancheria Apache tribe. and the vice chairman came in. I didn't introduce him as the vice chairman at that point. I introduced him as a cultural person, and he spoke just after our flood about the water situation and their view of the water. And it matched things that we heard in updates from Public Works about the memory of the water and how we were trying to fight that and fight it to keep our community safe. But on the cultural perspective, we had that person come in and talk about the memory of the water and how they welcomed it. So it was just two different perspectives, and he talked about a lot of different things. And we had a really good conversation, and John, let the staff know if they needed to go back to work, they could. And they stayed, they all stayed, and they talked to the vice chairman. So I just want to thank you for being innovative, John, and thinking of that. And that probably wasn't a popular thing, but I respect you and thank you for even wanting to do that. The city staff, I admire the structure of the meetings, the agenda review, the committees and event preparation. I watched all the details that you would all do. I know that I don't know all the background of things that would happen, but I witnessed it from John and Patrice and Jason and the directors of every event that we attended. And I think just the pre-work that goes in planning and preparation to be professional and prepared and respectful to guests and community was just something I'm so proud of, and I was proud to be a part of that. There was always every council member has an adequate and extensive amount of resources at our disposal. There's no reason to make a bad or misinformed decision. We have information with history, details, budgets, maps, guidance, recommendations, or no guidance or recommendation, and we make our own recommendations. But we can get an answer to pretty much any question, even if we don't get it immediately. So thank you, staff, for always becoming prepared and helping us be prepared to make quality decisions. Porterville's first city manager, woman. Thank you, Patrice, for stepping up into that position and even being willing to accept that. And I'm proud during my term, I was able to witness that and see you right in front of me swear in. And thank you for bringing your daughters and your family to that event. And I thought that was historical for our city. I was proud to be sitting up here, and I was proud to see young ladies in the chambers to witness that. I also want to say I'm proud of you and thank you for your dedication and your strong leadership. Like Mr. Lawless, you were the epitome of professionalism, but also had your own strengths and contributions, and you continued to help our city manage through some really heavy-duty challenges, most that we were criticized all for. But thank you for continuing to help us grow and evolve through any challenge or thing that we faced. I'd like to thank Julia, our city attorney, for keeping us on track. I think that you helped us we'd have so much information at a fast pace that we were able to make decisions based on that. And I didn't know that the cities had access to that, but having somebody with ethics and the history and the longevity that you have here, that you even understand our city and some of the players from years ago, just was so beneficial to us to be able to have that. So much gratitude, and I feel very lucky and fortunate that I even had that as a council member. So thank you for that, Julia, and being so honest with us. I know there was times I was upset and mad, and I didn't agree and I didn't like it. But thank you for laying out how we could make a decision or not, and keeping us in line. The city has leads of all the departments. Thank you all so much. Yeah, I'm going to take a little time here, so it's my last time. Without you and without your expertise, we would not have the full range of critical needs that we have in our city and the infrastructure and for the residents. Thank you for always listening to the people that come in here in the evenings and get our emails and our phone calls. I've always felt the teams were willing to work together, and these are not as just jobs, but because we all are all invested, because this is our home and your residents as well. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you all around town at events and helping out however I can to support you. Tribal Council, the past and present, from the time I was elected to today, thank you, Tribal Council, because I feel like they supported and understood what I was going through, and didn't always like the decisions also, but still have a different understanding because of serving as government themselves. I just want to say I couldn't have done it without seeing your faces at events and knowing that I had your support. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here tonight. Tribal members, I want to thank you, relatives. I felt the love every time I saw you, especially during a time when I was at a city event and I would see tribal members. I'll never forget the time when I was just elected and I was in Save Mart. It was still the pandemic. Everyone was wearing masks. And I just had got sworn in and I was walking across Save Mart and I heard a lady say, "Hey, Kelly," from across the grocery store, and I turned and looked and she said, "Right on." And I didn't know who it was at first because she had a mask, but it was one of our elders, Rita Redilius. So I always remember that, and it made me feel so proud. I also want to acknowledge the tribal communities throughout the state. There's tribal leaders that have reached out to me constantly and always shared support and guidance and resources and acknowledgement just to our city over the past 4 years. I look forward to continuing to work with you in various capacities and would love to talk to our communities, our tribal communities, about expanding more Native people into the various forms of government and school systems, including higher education and community service. City Council on the dais, thank you to those I was seated in 2020, and thank you as I have learned something from all of you, every single one. I have been honored to have been seated with two of the last, I feel, old school experienced civil servants. I got to serve with Milt Stowe and Martha Flores. Milt Stowe grew up as a family friend on all the ball fields, and then finally as a colleague to me on the dais. I learned a lot from you. Thank you, sir. And Mayor Martha A. Flores, thank you for being such a strong, ethical, busy, fair, and classy example of what a city mayor could be, and you are. You were, like said earlier, every event, every committee, board, and function that you could humanly squeeze into a schedule. Thank you for facilitating well-rounded meetings. I will never forget the way you facilitated meetings. You included all of our perspectives, allowed all of us time to speak and process to make the best decisions. I admire your work ethic, your experience, and your support. I absolutely look forward to anything you do in the future and will always support that. Thank you for being a supporter to our tribe. That is not always the case. And I know that, and I was surprised by that and disappointed by that. But I will always remember that you truly understood the status of our tribe, of a federal government, and the importance of Tule River. So thank you for that. For any projects, I think there was a lot of things that happened over the past term, but I really highly encourage people to listen or read the state of the city that the mayor has delivered so beautifully and strongly over the past years. There's so much done at the city level that's unbelievable, and I don't think a lot of our residents truly know the great things that are going on, and that we are a great example in the, not just in Tulare County, but the Central Valley. And I pray that the new council members will be able to see that and be proud of that as well as you continue your work. The committees I want to thank, that I learned so much, the audit committee, learning about all the different things in the city and the leases and policies and things that we had to develop. The military banner committee and all the work that they do and continue to do. The transit committees that I was a part of for a bit, the school district committees, and one of the big ones was the library facility planning committee. I felt extremely honored to even be a part of that or have a voice in that and interact with the other women that were there. Thank you, Donnie, for leading that so in a dedicated manner and getting so much work done in the past 4 years. And one of the committees that I joined blindly and was probably one of my roughest ones was the COVID ad hoc committee because of what we were going through at the time. But I'll speak a little bit on that as I close. I want to acknowledge again that we got to, in my term, 4 Wall of Fame representatives. I'm very proud. I think I picked some of the best in the city, and I would like to acknowledge them again. Dan Hackey-Metz, Virginia Garola, Maria Roman, and Stanley Santos. We were also able to, my colleagues on the dais agreed with me to do proclamations for missing and murdered Indigenous women in May to acknowledge that in communities throughout the United States and California, but also here in Tulare County, where this Tule River is the only federally recognized tribe with one of the largest land bases in the state of California. So, in closing, my experience has been in cultural preservation programs, community development, tribal government, and operations. So I came with some experience 4 years ago, but I have gained so much more from a local perspective, working as a government, serving as an official up here on the dais, working with top-notch directors and experts in their fields, working with various committees. And I just want to say, amazed at the work our city has done. I am so proud to be from Porterville and a part of Porterville. I loved serving, I truly did. And I know the chairman emeritus did talk to me several times about running again, and the time constraint is the only reason that I chose not to run. One of the last things I want to mention is, if you take a look at the short term of my one term in 4 years, I came in December of 2020, and we just had one of the worst fires in our history, probably that we'll ever have, where we lost the firefighters and lost our city library. And then we're in the midst of a pandemic. And then we go into the next couple years and come with a major flood. And at the time, I was working for the tribe. So I was hearing the emergency conversations from our chief, our police chief and our fire chief, and our public works director, and everything that the city was doing, and then at the same time, working with the tribe to get resources because power poles were down across our only road to get in and out of the reservation while water was everywhere. So with those extreme conditions, I feel like what this staff has done is unbelievable. To go through those 3 things alone in 4 years is unheard of for a small city. And I feel like we've done extremely well. So thank you, staff, for being an excellent example of resilience. Again, I'll close out. Thank you for being here, family. Thank you to my mom. I know she would be here if she wasn't sick. I see my daughter, Jenny, in the audience. Thank you, brothers, for being here, and sister and nieces. Thank you, Chairman Emeritus and Vice Chairman, for being here. And I want to say I love you. Thank you for helping me get through the last 4 years for the successful term. And then lastly, very lastly, thank you for all those that voted for me in 2020. I didn't take that lightly. And as hard as people were on us, there's a lot of things people don't know, not just the people in here saying misconceptions or calling us names, but threats and things like that. And we're doing this as volunteers to give back to our community. That's not the example I want to give to other young people, women, or anyone. So as hard as it was, those who voted for me, I never once thought to quit. Yes, I had a hard time being at all the events because I worked out of town, but I never once thought of quitting. So I want to thank you for taking a chance on me and believing in me, and I want to let you know that I put every effort that I could have and even took from my family and at times tribe to serve here and make good decisions. So thank you, City of Porterville.
We'll now go on into the next recognition.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next in order is the recognition of Mayor Martha A. Flores.
Well, I have the honor to present this award of recognition for your dedication and exceptional service as mayor of the city of Porterville. On here are some badges that council members get, which was a pretty neat little offering. But as city council member, mayor, vice mayor, and mayor, you make it look so easy from up here. And I tell Madam Mayor this after every meeting, how seamless she makes it look, whether it's comments from the community or long discussions on a matter. She reminds us to get it back to the topic at hand. And that's hard when we're passionate about, and we have different perspectives. But she does this with such grace and stoicism that there's the duty to be done for the community, for the citizens. And I've learned through her, it's a hard role because we represent the citizens of our community, but we also are representative of the city. And it's hard to balance those two acts. And I couldn't think of a more perfect person to have that role, and not just on the dais here in city council meetings, but as to Vice Mayor Carrillo's comments out in the community at events, but as a representative at the county level, the state level, and when you go back to Washington, D.C. at the federal level, to fight for our community, to fight for the projects that we have. We are a small community, but again, there are so many projects that towns 2 or 3 times bigger than Porterville don't have in their communities. And it goes to the leadership and the direction of the management, staff, the directors, and of council making those decisions on which way we're going. But I am just truly honored that I was up here, just as Vice Mayor Correa had said. She had Milt Stowe and you to look for in guidance and professionalism. And so it's my honor to sit up here, not just with you for the last 2 years, but to know you as a member of our community. And I know you are not done, but it's with my honor from staff, from the community, from the rest of the council members to honor you with this plaque.
That's heavy. As I was listening to Vice Mayor, there were so many things that were brought to the table as flashbacks of so many different things. I would like to begin first and foremost by congratulating the council members-elect who will soon be sworn in their positions on the dais. I am grateful to my family and friends for supporting me through my 31-plus years of both public and community service. They know who they are. I want to take a brief moment to thank Monsignor Scott for his words of wisdom, strength, and encouragement when I first got elected to council in 2016. I have retained those words very close to me through these 8 years, and they will continue to remain with me. It has been a pleasure to work and serve with council members Beltran, Meister, Wyrock, Vice Mayor Carrillo, and the previous council members on the dais who served alongside with me. And before I go further, I want to wish former city manager John Lawless a happy birthday. I've never forgotten. I will always be proud of the many accomplishments of our city government, the numerous projects that have been completed, the consistent work of promoting and supporting businesses, the overall public safety, that includes you too, as well as the infrastructure of the city, such as the water, sewer, roads, the lighting, the curbs, inclusive of the communication services, including the partnerships. Yes, it is true. I did attend 13 years of city council meetings before I decided to run. And at that time, there were discussions of the Tule River tribe wanting to relocate the casino. Those discussions were 25-plus years, and it came to fruition. I am very grateful to the collaborations with the numerous agencies and, of course, the respect of making this project come through to the final stages, and it will continue. As a council, of course, leave it to Edison. It's an important phone call. As a council, the two people that we hire are the city manager and legal counsel. I want to take this opportunity to recognize Patrice Hildreth and Julia Liu. I have already shared with you my feelings. As I look at staff, the core of the infrastructure of this city in their respective departments are the overall public safety officers, the directors, and their staff. It is their work that is to be commended, and I am very proud of you. As I stated, I am very proud of each and every one of you, and I will always be grateful. In conclusion, I am not done. I will always continue to be involved in our community. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my constituents who voted for me in both elections. And once again, there are things that yet have to be done. And once again, I'll turn it back, and Vice Mayor and I will exit the dais. Hang on a second, I gotta get my purse. Hang on. Yeah, I got it. Got it? Yeah, I got it.
Council members, the next item before you this evening is the administration of oath of office, presentation of certificates of election, and the seating of the new city council. And at this time, I would like to ask the council members-elect to come forward to be sworn in. If you would invite your spouses or significant other to come forward to assist in the swearing in, that would be great.
Thank the council for inviting me to participate again. It's a real honor for me. I didn't vote for any of you. I don't live in the city. So if I could have, I probably would have voted twice for each of you. You may not be aware that this oath was established after the Civil War. And essentially every elected official in this country has taken this oath since that period of time. Now, few of us have the privilege of having the trust of our fellow citizens invested in us as elected officials. And in my opinion, in a significant way, this oath that you're about to take has contributed to the preservation of freedom and the benefits of our elected representative. So if you would hold the Bibles out and have you put your left hand on the Bible, please, and raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, and state your name. I, Edward Andrew, do solemnly attest. Do solemnly attest. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. And the Constitution of the State of California. And the Constitution of the State of California. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Porterville City Council member. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully. Discharge the duties. Upon which I am about to enter. You are now city councilman. official now. Congratulations. Yeah, big time. Anywhere I suppose? Okay. I am not calling this to order. You want to sit here? Sit right here. Here, have a seat right here.
As Judge Roper wraps up signing the oaths of office, the first order of business for the new city council is the reorganization of the city council, and that is the selection of the mayor and vice mayor. So you can do it a few different ways. It is entirely up to the city council how you would like to proceed. We do have a method that was established back several years ago by Pete McCracken when he was serving on the city council, and we fondly call it the McCracken method. The city councils in the past have found that an effective way of selecting individuals, because in that particular method, you do not have to vote against anybody. It's all affirmative votes. And essentially what it is, you will each receive a ballot, and you can then select who you would like to vote, who would you like to select as mayor. And so each of you would receive a ballot, you would choose your individual, and then give the ballots back to Fernando. And then we would read the ballots aloud, indicating how you voted. And then if you have 3 affirmative votes for any one individual, that person would assume the seat. You could do that. You could receive nominations and then take the nominations in order as they come and vote that way. It's really entirely up to you.
Let's do a,
I prefer transparency.
we'll do a public
Yes.
nominations.
Just for clarification, the McCracken method is transparent because we read aloud how you voted. So just for clarification.
Oh, well, however you guys want.
One's quicker than the other. I'm not sure if it matters to you.
It doesn't matter. I make a motion for vote on mayor, and I would vote for Mr. Greg Meister.
Okay, so that is a nomination for
Greg Meister.
Greg Meister, okay. Are there any other nominations?
That has to be second, correct?
No, there's no, nominations do not require a second. So if there are no further nominations, then the floor would be closed to nominations, and then you can take action to vote on that nomination.
Multiple nominations can go ahead.
Correct.
He's going to make a motion.
Yeah, I was just going to nominate, if need be, where the votes were going, myself, if that needed to be offered. So I'd make a motion for myself.
Okay, so you have 2 nominations now, the first being one for Mr. Meister and the other for Mr. Beltran. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, then the nomination, the floor is now closed, and so now you take action in order of the nomination. So the first action you would take, you would entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Meister to serve as mayor. And that would require a motion and a second.
I motion to nominate Greg Meister as mayor.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any nays? Okay, the motion carries 4-1. So if you would like to now take action on the vice mayor, open the floor for nominations.
Am I taking charge from here, Patrice?
Absolutely.
So I'll open the floor for nominations for vice mayor. It's open.
I motion for Ed McCurvey, Vice Mayor.
I second that motion.
Well, I'll third that. We'll call for a vote.
Are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations?
Okay.
We'll call for the vote.
Well, no, you now have, so the nominations do not require a second, and so it was just the nomination, and now you would take action, you would need a motion and a second to entertain that nomination for Mr. McCurvey to serve as vice mayor.
Okay, I'll make a motion for Ed McCurvey to be vice mayor.
I second that.
Call for a vote.
It would be a verbal vote.
Verbal?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the motion carries unanimously, so now I would move to your respective chairs.
Okay. You could sit next to Beltran or on the far right.
Yes, stuck.
Well, I'd like to make some comments as your mayor, or the future mayor of the city of Porterville. I campaigned on new leadership, new direction, and that is what we will deliver this body. To my family that is in the audience, Dad, Mom, my wife, Jen, you are the backbone of our family. Dad, you guys fill the void that I leave through the sacrifice and service. To my daughter, McKinley Meister, you showed me what courage was when you took your mask off and the abuse that happened upon you. It's you who inspired me to do this. I've never wanted to be in politics. This is not a desire to be a mayor, but it's a demand by the people. And as John Lawless once said when I was elected, we had 3 new members for the first time in his 17-year career. And it was the first time it happened to him, and it showed the mandate that was there. But now, once again, we will have 3 new members for a priority meeting coming up. It really shows the change that the people are calling for in this city. So thank you to you all for electing me as your mayor, and to the people, I look forward to the future. So with that, we will open up to the to agenda item number 6. With the consideration of city council appointments to boards and commissions.
Thank you, Your Honor. With the change in the composition of the city council due to the recent election and the very recent reorganization, there are now vacancies on various boards and committees on which selected city council members serve. And provided in the council packets was a list of the current appointments as of December 3rd. For council's consideration. So with that, the recommendation is that city council consider making appointments to the various boards and committees on which council members serve. It is your prerogative to take action this evening, or if you feel that you would like more time, you can certainly entertain bringing it forward at a future meeting. It is entirely up to the council.
If the council is ready.
I just have one thing I wanted to say, Greg, in respect. Congratulations on becoming the mayor. And I'd also like to say a couple of words about being selected as the vice mayor before we start the committee discussion. I would just like to say a few words, and it's this. I grew up in Porterville. Never imagined I'd be sitting up here, I'll tell you that. I came here in a grade school field trip, and I remember coming in these chambers and thinking, wow, this is a place where the government's seated. This is where things happen. It was respect. It was honor. And to watch a city council meeting when I was a child at a field trip, I'll never forget that. And these chambers look much the same as they did back then. And I'm pretty old, so it hasn't changed that much. But I'd like to thank my family for being here and supporting me through all of this, too. And we have quite a few members here from our church that are supportive, and you guys came out and supported me when I tried to get appointed a couple of years ago. And it really fired me up, that appointment process, because I felt like the city council wasn't listening to me from the outside. And so I said, well, I guess I'm going to get involved. And so I did. And to get 72% of the vote in my district is really a call from the people that I spoke about in that district and all around the community that says, we would really like to see you bring your expertise and your experience to bear on the city. And having done a lot of community service and served all over this country in various capacities in business for the last 30 years, I thought, well, how hard could it be? And it's going to be a challenge because we're serving people and I don't have a captive audience and I have to make sure that I do the right thing. And I appreciate all those words that were said earlier about the outgoing council members and even from the audience about, hey, you guys make sure you do the right thing for everybody. And that was rule number one in the last 31 years of my life working in logistics was do the right thing. And we can all live by those words. And I would just like to thank my lovely wife, Denise, of 33 years for being here to support me and get us sworn in tonight. My in-laws are here, my lovely daughters are here, and my grandson is here, and a lot of good friends and family from around the community are here to support me. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for the opportunity, and I will give it my all to deliver on the mandate of that vote of 72%.
Thank you for the fine words, Vice Mayor. To the other council members, I'll give you a moment to speak at the end of this meeting, okay? All right, so let's go into business. As far as the committee board for Tulare County Regional Transit Agency, the TCRTA, is that something that still needs to be a committee?
No, TCAG is, are you looking at the first item?
On the list first.
Yeah.
On the list.
Did I'm
TCAG.
It's TCAG.
I'm looking at the
Oh, you were on
agenda
page
here.
2.
Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, well, let's skip that, and let's go with Tulare County Association of Governments, TCAG. Well, with that opening up, I am the alternate. As you can see, I'd like to be the member, the voting member of that committee. That is my stance.
On the TCAG, I'd like to be the alternate.
Are there any other comments? Okay, so we have that. Okay, Tulare County Task Force on Homelessness. Martha Flores was the member. Claudia Caldron is the alternate. I think we may keep it that way as far as staff being the alternate. Is there anybody with respects that wants to fill this committee seat?
If no one objects, I would like to take that one as the member, Tulare County Task Force of Homelessness.
Is there anybody else? Okay, we're going forward with Rivas for Tulare, what's that?
For member? Yes.
Yes, for the member, and then we have staff as an alternate. If it's something you're wanting to get involved with, I think it's, oh, go ahead, Patrice.
I was just going to clarify, so you can do all of your selections, and then at the end, you could take one action to approve all of them.
Okay, so you're going to be taking notes then. All right, Tulare County, well, were you expressing, so you're saying we'll vote at the very end? Stan, were you wanting to be on that committee?
The Task Force for Homeless,
Yes.
as an alternate?
As an alternate? Okay, that's something we could discuss at the end there. Okay, so moving on to Tulare County Economic Development Corporation. Martha is that member. It's not something that I'm looking to fill. City manager is the alternate. Are any of you interested in the Tulare County Economic Development? Nobody? Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll need your guys' help as mayor just for my work schedule. The Tulare County Economic Development Corporation. I could fill that, but as a city manager, or future city manager will have to help with.
And staff
Yes.
routinely attends that.
Yeah, so go ahead and mark me down for that, Patrice. Council of Cities, I was a member. I would like to continue to be a member. Is there anybody else that would like to join Council of Cities?
I'm interested in the Council of Cities, Mr. Mayor.
Is there anybody else? Okay, moving on, Porterville Area Development Authority. Councilman Beltran is a member. Are you still looking to continue to be a member? Yes. Is there anybody else that would like to join that committee?
I would be an alternate for that committee, Mayor.
It's actually a member position.
Member? Yeah, I'll be a member.
Is there anybody else that would like to join that committee? Okay. Joint City School District Committee. I am a member. I'd like to continue to be a member. Kelly Carrillo was the other member. Is there anybody that would like to fill that committee role?
I'm interested in that position of the Joint City School District Committee, Mr. Mayor.
Is there anyone else?
No, sir.
Ad hoc Committee Provision of Local Water Services. Kelly Carrillo is the member, and Raymond Beltran is a member. Raymond, are you still?
Your Honor, this is one committee that I would recommend that maybe be brought back to the next meeting to have it abolished, because it is an ad hoc committee, and it is in the same line as the cannabis committee, the ad hoc committee. It has really served its purpose.
Yeah.
And if the council so desired, you could establish a standing committee concerning water matters. But I would recommend that rather than appointing an individual to serve on this. It rarely meets, and it would be beneficial to abolish and then create a standing committee.
Yeah, I'm open for that. Let's have that as a scheduled matter on the next meeting, and we can look at the direction we go. Tule River Improvement JPA. Don Wyrock was a member, and Michael Knight is an alternate. Is there anybody interested in this committee?
I'm interested in that committee, Mr. Mayor, and I would also like to recommend Stan as an alternate on that committee with his experience in farming.
As an alternate, will that remove Michael Knight from the committee?
It would.
Stan, are you, is this something that you're wanting to do?
Sure, I'm fine with that, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Knight, are you aware if you can have two alternates on that?
I'm not aware that we can have two alternates.
Go ahead, Raymond.
Mr. Knight, as your role, would you still be able to attend those meetings, or were you only attending as a committee member?
So I would still be attending, but if there was an absence, then I would be unable to make any decisions on council's behalf. So there is some scheduling that conflicts that occur, and I attend all those meetings it's a result of the Success Enlargement Project and the ongoing maintenance of the Tule River. So that's my role in being part of that discussion.
Absolutely. And you've been fantastic at it, Assistant City Manager Knight, former Director of Public Works. And so my understanding is you'll be there. You'll still be able to give advice to our electeds. And if it is the role of you guys, then we'd have to work together as far as making sure we have a voting member at this meeting.
Absolutely.
Right? And Assistant City Manager Knight, you could still be there to guide them and help with any questionings, right? That's,
If that's your desire, yes.
okay. Tulare County Tulare County City Selection Committee. The mayor is the city member, so I will take that, and then a designee as an alternate. Do we do that on the spot, or do we need to
You
do
do.
that?
If you're unable to attend, then you can delegate the authority to somebody.
And most likely be vice mayor. Okay, so Tulare County Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO is NA. Leave it at that?
We don't have a member right now.
Okay. Is anybody interested in that committee?
It goes by large city, small city, and we do not have a seat right now.
Thank you. And now we're to Tulare County Regional Transit Agency, the TCRTA. I know we are no longer a member. Is this a committee that needs to continue on?
No, it should be abolished.
Okay, now a question for the future. Is this, being that we have taken local control of transit, do we need a committee for transit?
We certainly could. We could bring forth an item for council's consideration if they wanted to establish a
Well,
transit
maybe I
committee.
should ask this. Are any of you interested on being on transit committee? And that's open to you guys before we push forward with this.
If it's something that it's going to benefit the city
Oh,
as a whole,
absolutely.
then I'll be interested in that.
Okay. So then that could be something we could bring back as a scheduled matter?
Correct.
Thank you. The PDC Advisory Board, it looks like John Wallace was the member, so the city manager would be filling that void. The mayor is the alternate. I do have a conflict of interest, being that I work at PDC, so maybe the alternate be vice mayor?
Yes.
Perfect. Is that all right with you, Ed?
Yes, sir.
Eternal City Audit Committee. Martha Flores was the member, and Kelly Carrillo was a member, so it's a seat that we're going to need to fill. Wednesdays at 4 p.m., fourth Wednesdays. Are any of you interested in this?
I'm interested, Mayor.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, that time could be adjusted with the new council members coming on that. So that, because it's an internal committee, it is really up to the city council members
Thank you,
as to
Patrice.
when you want to meet.
Is there anybody else that's interested? Okay,
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, are you interested, Stan?
In, where were we?
We are in Internal City Audit
Okay,
Committee.
right, Internal City Audit Committee. Well, sure, Mr. Mayor, I would
Okay.
take that responsibility if you'd like.
San Joaquin Valley Special City Selection Committee, I am the alternate. I'd be honored to be the member, but we will need an alternate.
Yeah, I'd be the alternate if there's no one else that's interested.
Okay. Eastern Tule Groundwater Sustainability Agency, JPA. Don Wyrock was the voting member, and Michael Knight is the alternate. Are there anybody?
Yeah, I would, Mr. Mayor, I would be interested in that.
Okay, Stan Green? Councilman Green? Okay. Councilman Beltran is also looking at joining. Is there anybody else?
I'm interested in that as well. Water's a key issue. I certainly want to be on that committee if I can be.
Okay. Okay, so we have 3 individuals that are looking at it. There is 1 member and an alternate. We do have staff that is the alternate in that meeting. I question, just before we go forward, because Michael Knight is instrumental in water in our community. If he is removed as alternate, are you still able to be at meetings? What?
It would exclude me from being able to participate in some capacities, so it would strictly be the members able to be in closed session and make those communications, so,
So alternates are able to be in closed session?
yes.
Really? That's different than the way TCAG does. Go ahead.
I was just going to share my experience. I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
Because there's some legal counsel that feel the alternate should be kept up to speed on matters that they may be voting on in the future, and that's why alternates are permitted.
Okay, that's something we have to consider. We'll move on. The ad hoc committee for COVID-19, it's Kelly Carrillo as a member, and myself, I'd like to remain a member. Is there anybody interested in the ad hoc COVID-19?
I would recommend that also be abolished.
Well,
Or establish a standing committee concerning COVID.
No, I think an ad hoc committee would serve. I don't think we need to draw it on, but what I'd like to do is an after-action review in the process of COVID and how it was handled. So that would be something that, lessons learned
Okay,
through that committee.
sure.
Is there anybody else that's interested in that committee?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be interested in joining you to do an after-action review on COVID-19 committee. Absolutely.
All right. Is there anybody else
Yeah, I would be interested, Mr. Mayor.
you'd be interested?
Yeah.
Okay,
Of course.
okay. Anybody else open?
I would be interested, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, Local Initiatives Navigation Center Committee. Raymond Beltran is the member. It meets monthly. Is this something you're still wanting to do, Raymond?
Yes, sir.
Or Councilman Beltran? Okay, anybody else? It's a Link Committee. It's Local Initiative Navigation Center Committee.
I would be interested in that, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay.
As an alternate, as a member, I'm not sure how much these committees are set up of how many members can join a committee.
That's a great question.
Some of these are, it's getting packed.
Well, and I'm sure you could use help in that committee. I know it's a lot.
No, it's fine, I just don't know if it's.
Is it something that can be open for an alternate from the city?
I
That's
think
to
it
staff.
would be an alternate position
I would-
rather
I
than
would-
2 members.
I would be encouraged, I would enjoy the alternate position.
Okay. Okay, we're on to the Ad hoc Military Banner Committee. Kelly Carrillo was the member. It's something that I have interest in, and I'd be willing to take on that committee. Is there anybody else that's interested in that? No? Moving on.
Honorable Mayor, if I may, that is also these 2 ad hoc committees. The Library Facility Planning Committee is still active and completing the task that they were charged with. However, the Military Banner, I believe, has completed its work. So if you wish, I think that's another one that should be actually a standing committee and not an ad hoc committee.
I'd agree with that. Okay, so that would be for schedule matters
correct.
on the next meeting, okay? And then, so would that open up to 2 members, or do we still have,
You certainly could.
okay. So then we have the Ad hoc Library Facility Planning Committee, but you also are recommending that we move that to a standing committee.
No, that one is still working on its charge. So they're still planning and
Okay.
working on yeah.
Kelly Carrillo was the voting member. Is anybody interested in the Ad hoc Library Facility Planning Committee? Okay, Councilman Beltran, anybody else? And we could, I believe we could open it up for an alternate as well if you're wanting. No? Okay. Moving on, the Mighty 190 Committee. Kelly Carrillo is a member, and I am a member. It meets monthly or as needed. Or is there anybody interested in the Mighty 190?
I'm interested in that committee, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. AJ, were you showing interest? Excuse me, Councilman Rivas?
Yes, I was showing interest also.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Okay, with that, I'll leave it to you guys. All right. I also would like to make a motion to add some,
Got one more, don't you? Porterville Flag Day Committee.
yes, that's a good one that I started. So Porterville Flag Day Committee. I'd like to remain a member on that committee. It was just started last year. If anybody's open for an alternate, I believe that's possible. If, no?
Nobody? Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, so Stan would like to be an alternate. And then we have the Cannabis Committee, which was just put forth to a standing committee. And we have 2 vacant seats. Are there any, council members that are looking to fill the Cannabis Committee? Okay.
I'll join you, Councilman Beltran.
Is there anybody else?
I'll be an alternate also.
Okay,
Mayor.
so there we go. We have those 3. Moving on, I'd like to make a motion for, and I would need a second for this to carry in a vote, but for scheduled matters for the next meeting. What's up, Patrice?
Just for process, so if you were going to take action on all of the appointments that you were just,
Yeah.
that you just made, however, there are a few that there's
Too many on.
too many
I got you, and if I push forward new committees, it needs to go as scheduled matter on future meetings, correct?
Correct, but for example, the ETGSA.
No, I understand. Let's go through that.
Okay, so there's the vacancy that left by Mr. Wyrock, and you have 3 individuals that are seeking appointment on that. You have Mr. Green, Mr. Beltran, and Mr. McCurvey.
Which committee is that? Let's
The
go-
Eastern Tule Groundwater Sustainability.
Let's just do one at a time, right? Let's go through it. So the Eastern Tule GSA, we can only have 1 voting member. And my opinion, Assistant City Manager Michael Knight is the leading expert in the region in this. I don't know if it's the right move to pull him out, but that is my opinion, and I would share that with you guys. I know that he'll always be committed to water in our area, no matter what decision we make, but removing him as alternate, I don't know what the consequences would be, but there is going to be an impact, so I just would lay that out there for you guys.
Yeah, if I may, Mayor, that's my sentiment. I would remove myself from that. Just, Mr. Knight has been there since the inception of Eastern Tule GSA, and so I think he's the expert to have on there the whole time. So much as I'd like to be a part, I'll remove myself. Just, I believe it's vital that he remain on that list, one of 2. And it would be up to Councilmember McCurvey or Mr. Green to figure out who would remain that member. But my suggestion or recommendation would be that Assistant City Manager Knight remain on that as an alternate.
Okay. With that, I don't know, Rochambeau, figure it out, guys.
Well, I think Councilman Beltran makes a great point, and we don't want to diminish the expertise of Mike and what he does for that committee, so we'll leave him as an alternate, as Raymond suggested, Councilman Beltran, and I really like the idea of Stan being there as the voting member. I'm okay with that.
There's that. What's the next one, Patrice?
The next one is the COVID Ad Hoc Committee, and I do have an idea. I believe this might be one that everyone wishes to participate on, and so rather than it being an ad hoc committee, we could certainly bring forth an item in closed session so that all of the city council could participate. And if there's a discussion that is deemed to be worthy of a closed session, it would be held in closed session. If not, it would be held in open session as an item. And I would recommend that if everyone wants to participate, that's an option. Otherwise, you could certainly take action. We could bring back an item to increase the membership on that committee. If you wanted to take action or to.
If we
because
increase-
the ad hoc committee basically makes recommendations to the city council, which will then be considered in open session or a closed session regardless. So
Yes.
you could eliminate that step and just have the discussion amongst you.
But it would be in closed session.
It depends. That is a legal question for Ms. Liu. It just depends on the content, and if it involves active litigation, it would definitely be in closed session.
So, to my colleagues, this is something that, as we go into, we're going to bring it forward to yourselves and to the people, and it's something that will be discussed. Myself, I have served on the committee. We haven't even had a meeting in the past 2 years, but I believe it's perfect time for that after-action review. We have the vice mayor who also is interested in this. And so I'd ask if you guys would step back and let us lead, and we will bring the information to you guys as we go forward before we vote on anything and bring it to the people.
In that sentiment, I will step back and go in that direction, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Rivas.
Yeah, I would also do likewise. Yeah, I'll rescind myself.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Green. There we go.
And I believe that was the only ones. I believe we're good on all the other ones.
Okay. Okay, so at this time, I will be making a couple motions. I'd like to make a motion for a heritage committee. Now, the way this process works is it has to be second and then voted upon, and then it would come back and schedule matters in future meetings, and it's something that we'll be able to debate before the people before we come up with a final decision on these motions. So my first motion would be for a heritage committee. We were on the verge of celebrating 250 years of our nation's history, our constitutional republic. It's also following the leadership of our president-elect, Donald Trump. And it really is the spirit of an all-American city, which we are. With that, I also find it just amazing that the timing is 100 years of our city's charter, which is a special thing in our community. And so with that, I would like to bring a heritage committee where we celebrate that 250 years in 2026. And there's different ideas, but it's something that we have to bring forward. I could think of banners, celebrations at the park, maybe patriotic music within our chambers before and after meetings. Go ahead, Councilman Beltran.
Sorry, I think we need to vote on this, and then we can go to that.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Okay.
I didn't want to cut you off,
I know, I
but
didn't want to.
if you could take action on the appointments, you'd need a motion in a second.
Okay, I'll open it up for a motion.
I make a motion that we accept all of the appointments as discussed.
I'll make a second.
Thank you. Call for the vote?
A roll call vote.
Your Honor, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and do a roll call vote since we don't have.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Rivas,
Aye.
Councilmember Green,
Aye.
Councilmember Beltran. Aye. Vice Mayor McCurvey,
Aye.
Mayor Meister.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Well, guys, thank you for weighing with me on this learning curve here. So with that, you guys kind of heard what I talked about with the Heritage Committee. That was my motion going forward with that. It will have to come forward. It may take 2-3 meetings to figure out exactly what we want. So go ahead, Patrice.
For clarification, so this would be a motion to add an item for consideration on the next agenda? Or
Yes.
in January, what are you?
January's fine, I think.
Okay.
That works for me.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'd like to second that motion for the Heritage Committee, and it would be an ad hoc committee, would have a time bound and be specific to the, what we want to, just for clarification, want to speak about this, what we would like to see in our city as far as celebrating our heritage and a 100-year anniversary in 2026 for Porterville, and at the same time, the 250th birthday of the country. So this would be an ad hoc committee that would be trying to figure out how we build our community spirit over the next 18 months towards those goals.
Are there any other comments? We have a motion and a second. Let's call for the vote. Fernando, please.
Councilmember Rivas.
Aye.
Councilmember Green.
Aye.
Councilmember Beltran. Vice Mayor McCurvey.
Aye.
Mayor Meister.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
I have a second motion here for a new committee, and we could bring that in January, as staff is recommending, and that is for a downtown committee. There is rumors of a formation of the downtown businesses trying to come together. I think that as leaders in our community, we should lead that charge. So with that, there's kinds of talks of a downtown district or a zone for tax where we could capture maybe the tax in that area on downtown. What that looks like, I don't know if that's a charter change. You may have to go to a vote before the people. I don't quite know the legals on that, but just that review on regulations on downtown, we would have the opportunity to look at that. I also like the idea of making committee members, they must own a business downtown, and we have to figure out the parameters of what that looks like. And then with the committee members being from downtown, we get to figure out what their priorities are. And so that would be my motion for that committee, and it would be called the Downtown Committee.
And again, this would be to add an item for consideration to establish this committee.
Yes, thank you.
I motion for the downtown committee.
So that, I have a first and a second. Is there any other comments?
Greg, I campaigned, Mr. Mayor, I campaigned on downtown Porterville, having grown up here. I really have a fondness for downtown and as a community center, and I'd really like to participate in that too and create the conditions for our downtown to thrive again. This is a great idea. I'm all for it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Any other comments? We'll call for the vote. Fernando, please.
Councilmember Rivas.
Aye.
Councilmember Green.
Aye.
Councilmember Beltran. Vice Mayor McCurvey.
Aye.
Mayor Meister.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1.
And then this will be my last motion for committees. We have not had a charter review in, I want to say, 10 years.
11, I think.
11 years, so a decade, and I believe with the new administration and the Dodge committee that's being formed, where Department of Government Efficiency, and what the direction of our nation is taking and the mandate by the people, I think it's a good time to review our charter committee. I would say my agenda, and just being transparent with the people, I believe that a strong mayor is due, where the people get to decide who the mayor is. The people get to elect the mayor. It's on the ballot, and that is how you keep the city accountable, is we have the ability to hire and fire the mayor. So that is my agenda, but I also believe there's things that staff knows of, like the $2,000 limit where it has to come before the council. You know, Chief Cogburn, your fire hose probably costs more than that, and it really probably doesn't need to come before the council. There's been inflation at a great deal in the last 11 years, so I think there's some things that would save us time, and I'm not trying to be lazy here, but there's things that we could look at the charter to better the city in that sense. So that would be my motion there. And let me open it up for comments, if there is any comments.
One of the things that I think that our city needs is to have, we're growing now, right? When I grew up in Porterville, it was less than 10,000 growing up. We got 60,000 plus. and we have districts now. I looked at the charter, and I was looking at it with Patrice, and we were having some discussions about having public hearings so that we can get more input from the city, from the different quadrants of the city, because we need to get more participation, and I'd like to hold public hearings in each district. But the charter says that in order to do that, you cannot conduct business in those districts. All the business of the city has to be conducted in these chambers according to the current charter. So I would like to look at that in the charter committee, and I think it's a good idea to review that, what you mentioned, and some other things as well.
Okay. Any other comments? Yeah, this presents that opportunity. Any kind of charter change is a vote before the people, and so I just put that out there. But that's my motion forward, and it's to you guys.
I'll second that motion.
Fernando, call for the vote. Fernando, please.
Councilmember Rivas,
A.
Councilmember Green,
Aye.
Councilmember Beltran.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McCurvey,
Aye.
Mayor Meister.
Aye. Okay, with that, before we adjourn this meeting, I'd like to, is there anything else, Patrice, with that?
No, Your Honor.
No comments? With that, I'd like to open comments for my colleagues and newly elects. I'll start with Mr. Rivas, Councilman Rivas. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for all of you coming out tonight and wishing us a good evening. And I'd like to thank my wife and my brother-in-law and my family and all the first responders and Mr. Knight and all the city council staff for being here. It gives me great honor to be here. I will do the best I can for the city of Porterville and for the people of Porterville. Everybody to me is a member of my community, and I will do the best of my ability to ensure the safety and that Porterville goes in the right direction. With that, I turn it over to the mayor.
Councilman Green?
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. It was quite a turnout, wasn't it? Of course, I see everybody's it's getting towards bedtime, so everybody's creeping off, slipping out the back door. But yeah, I was born and raised in Porterville, and I was asked to come on board and run for city council. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opponent, so I didn't have to work very hard. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I do hope to help make the city a better place to be, more business-friendly, and everybody hopefully will all benefit from that. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Beltran?
Congratulations, gentlemen. Congratulations, Mayor Meister and Vice Mayor McCurvey. I know there's continued efforts to say change, and I hope that's not a personal agenda, it's more for the community. So I look forward to working with all of you, though. Amen.
Thank you for that, Councilman Beltran. And I've always expressed my bias is on the side of freedom, liberty, and my agenda is the Constitution. So with that, I'm going to make my last motion tonight, and that is to postpone the hiring of the city manager. This council has a huge task before them, and this may be the biggest decision they make, this body, and that's to you guys. This sets the tone for maybe the next decade to 20 years. Our last and former honorable city manager, John Lawless, served 17 years. This is a big decision, and I feel it's not fair to you guys to force you to vote within the short future. I think it's only fair that you get some council meetings under your belt, you get a feel for how this system works, how the city works, and you are more experienced in your decision-making for the city manager and the future of this city. So what I would motion is that we postpone the hiring for 6 months. This gives you an opportunity to have 12 meetings before we decide the city manager. I also, as the city charter is written, the next man up theory and deputy city manager Ridenhour would fill that void for that 6 months. This is part of my motion. I also think that there should be a paid differential pay and some form of right to return to his position in the contract. And with that, I would also like to interview all 6 candidates. Currently, the process is the three top candidates, which we had a panel of professionals in our area interview these individuals, and so we have their notes, and it'll be something we'll be able to use in the process of hiring the city manager. But that would be my motion, is that we postpone for 6 months, giving you an opportunity to learn how the city functions, and then we have the ability to interview all 6 candidates. That's my motion.
Your Honor, because that item is not on the agenda, we cannot take any action on that. I can tell you that as we are developing and putting the final touches on the agenda for December 17th, there are items on closed session pertaining to the appointment of the city manager. So you can discuss, have this discussion in closed session at the next regular meeting, but you cannot take action this evening because it is not on the agenda.
Well, the action I'm taking would put it on the scheduled matter for the next meeting, and
It will be.
I mean, what's the difference between the committees I just made motions for?
That was adding an item, but I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, it's okay.
The way it was presented, I thought you were wanting to take action to postpone.
No.
Okay, so
Yes.
it will be on the next agenda.
It would be on the scheduled matters, correct? As far as what I'm projecting, a 6-month,
It would be a closed session item, and you can take action in closed session on that particular item. And it is already on the agenda.
but the former city council has set that closed action with direction, and so I'm bringing a new direction.
And you could do that in closed session. It's a personnel matter, and so it is not an open session item. Because it is a personnel matter, it would be discussed in closed session, and it will be on the agenda for next Tuesday's meeting, and you can do exactly what you are discussing. What I'm trying to say is you don't even need an item you don't need to ask for it, it's already going to be on the agenda.
Okay. Is there any comments?
Well, I would just like to comment on that. I've come into these chambers for the last few meetings and expressed something similar to that, and so I appreciate that commentary. We have a big task before us. We're going to be doing a lot of things that the people have called us to do, and I think that if we make that decision, we need to interview those folks directly. Having done panel interviews for 25 years, I want to be able to ask those men and women, or whoever the candidates are, pointed questions and make sure that we pick the right city manager. And I really appreciate that comment, and I will echo that, and I was looking forward to that conversation next week.
Any other comments? And thank you, Vice Mayor. Any comments? Mr. Beltran?
I'll just say I'm a little disappointed because all we heard from the podium was, we're ready, let us decide, and now we're going to postpone that another 6 months. So just a little disappointed that people aren't as ready as they thought they would be.
With all due respect, Councilman Beltran, you've heard me from the audience for the last 2 months about this. You've heard from Stan, you've heard from AJ when we were going through this process, and we asked the council to slow down so that we don't get rushed into this decision.
Okay. Thank you guys for your comments. This will be a closed session matter, and we'll take it from there. With that, I want to congratulate the newly elected council members, Vice Mayor. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you all. And this meeting's adjourned at 7:32. Excuse me, before I knock, Patrice, do you have any comments?
Thank you so much. Just congratulations, welcome to your new seats, and I look forward to working with you for the next meeting. And I believe I can speak with staff and wishing you well as well.
Thank you, Patrice. Well, with that, this meeting is